Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again here. I'm privileged and proud to support Waimanuka by Joe Harawera and the crew, New Zealand's premium non-alcoholic sparkling beverage with honey and a splash of lemon. So get it into it, support them if you can, and or just give it a try if you haven't tried it before. So there we go. Got the three different, or a bit of a range, 750ml bottle, 300ml bottle, 250ml can. So anyway, if you get a chance and or you feel interested in tasting it and giving it a try, premium, sparkling, non-alcoholic, honey and lemon drink. Anyway, back here with, I think this is part 8 of my reaction to the New Zealand SAS First Among Equals cycle. So let's jump back in.
You're thinking about what you're going to be doing, the training, go through your drills.
The unit waits for night to begin the rescue.
This is exactly what the SAS have been training for.
The waiting with regards to, you're all primed, prepped, ready to go. Everything's good to go. But one of the things that stuck out to me, or one of the memories, was the cookie time cookies, some muffins, and just some of the snacks and stuff that were there. I don't know if it's still like that these days, but maybe they've got, I don't know, maybe they've got better food choices or healthy options or something like that. Who knows? But I tell you what, the muffins and the biscuits to me were good. I can't help but think that I think there were some pies there as well. So probably not really the sort of food, I suppose, that you should be having, or potentially should be having before needing to go into and or carry out a task like that. But I tell you what, for me, it was good for morale. Like having a bit of junk food and stuff there to snack on when you could. It wasn't like a big, massive amount, but there was, stuff there that you could go and help yourself to, and it was nice to go get a biscuit or a pie or a muffin. Yeah, I'm sure there were pies there. But anyway, they've probably got much better options, I should say, in place for candidates on cycle, and indeed if the real thing was to happen.
You're up, Jack faces on. Stand up.
As the deadline for execution looms, the squadron readies for action.
You get one chance to get it right. So the pressure is on.
You've got to perform.
You're waiting for the go, and then all that surprise, aggression and speed, or speed, aggression, surprise, whatever order you want to put it in, needs to come into play and focus in on the task and the job at hand. So it puts a smile on my face watching this, doing a reaction, just because of a lot of the memories from the training perspective that come flooding back, at least into my head anyway.
The counter-terrorism teams move into position with silence and precision.
Stand by, go!
Just that multiple entries from various teams, the orders that have been provided, the areas in which you're going up to clear, to dominate, etc. Having been on, doing both sides as part of the training, doing it as a candidate, then also being enemy party, like there's a lot to that, and it's pretty cool how it all, when you see it from both sides, how it all plays out, being an enemy and then just realizing, man, that the teams are coming in from the roof, from the walls, through the windows, through the doors, and whatever other accessible points that they identify as part of their planning and stuff that's happening outside. And when it happens, with it happening simultaneously, the enemy parties blink in a fair bit of shock, is what I would say. I at least found that, and I already knew that there was going to be multiple entries into the places where we were playing enemy party for other teams, as you alternate and go through. And then when you have the debriefs, you've got enemy party giving points and debriefs as well of what they saw, of what was good, what was bad, what could be improved, etc., as well as from the good guys carrying out the job. And then you've got the directing staff who are seeing everything from a bigger field of view, from all the planning that happens away from the target, to seeing things as they start to converge onto the target, to seeing how all the entries and stuff take place, the comms, how that happens, what happens once they're inside, because they're walking around observing all of that stuff. So there's it's cool to know that there's a lot of rigor around the assessment of things, the planning of things, the conduct of those things, and then the lessons learned and how they look to apply them going forward. So that should, give people a reasonably, I'd like to think, a good sense of the processes that are applied for the operators to get to the level of where they're at. And again, also for those that may not be up to the required standard during their process, well, then I assume, will likely get some sort of briefing and then, typically be let go if they're deemed not suitable.
The 5 new troopers have met expectations, yet each knows this is only a dress rehearsal for the real thing.
Exercise you always take seriously, but you're still that one step off 110%, aren't you? Operations is life and death.
The hostage exercise marks the end of the counter-terrorism phase for the 5 new troopers.
The CT or second phase is almost like the home straight. You are feeling a little more like you're part of it.
There you go. So I think I spoke in the previous reaction that the counter-terrorism CT phase was typically done in the second half of the cycle. So the first half was all your patrol procedures, jungle phase, and if you didn't get through that, well, then you never got to see or touch or experience what the black roll counter-terrorism stuff was like. But I'm pretty sure for my cohort in '99 when we did cycle, I'm pretty sure our black roll stuff was done first because of, I think I touched on earlier in the other reaction, because of APEC that was coming up.
Because at the end of that course, you can be deployed.
Now the 5 will prepare for what every NZSAS soldier aspires to: overseas deployment.
Everyone joins the unit to go on operations. It's what everyone aspires to do.
It's all you're here for, is to do your job. Yeah. You're here to do your job.
Great comments from the commanding officer, from that fella Fish, who I didn't know. I never met him, but I know Dale and Eddie. And then, I think I've shared on a number of videos as well. Like, you just want to do the job. Like, that's what you join up for. You want to. Everybody will have their own reasons, but if you have an opportunity, when those opportunities come to deploy on operations, you're going with good intentions to essentially remove bad people off the board, off the playing board, so to speak. and you're trying to do that, hopefully, without you losing your life, or probably more importantly, your mates losing their lives, and then you coming second to them. So, and then trying to achieve the mission, trying to whatever that is, not only removing bad players off the board, rescuing people if that's the case, helping those who are not in a position to be able to fight and or defend themselves. But by and large, mostly to try to remove terrorists and eliminate terrorism as best you can.
Next week, our cameras will follow the 5 new troopers as they undertake advanced combat training. For the first time ever, you will see how NZSAS soldiers prepare for the ultimate military experience, overseas deployment.
It's pretty interesting to me how much more information and footage is being shown of, at least of the New Zealand selection and cycle. Like, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, but back in '98 when 60 Minutes was there and they filmed this, just happened to be there, and they filmed the selection that I just happened to be doing at the end of that year. I was surprised that that was a thing, or that had happened. And then since then, obviously, I've been surprised at the New Zealand First Among Equals like selection process, and now the cycle that it's been showing, and just the amount of information that is available on the interwebs on YouTube for people to watch, which there's probably pros and cons, good and bad to it, but I am sure that the New Zealand SAS Regiment, the New Zealand Defence Force, those that are in that space likely considered and weighed all of that sort of stuff up as much as they could, and felt that it was a good thing to do, for whatever reason, to whether it helps with recruitment, whether it inspires people, which it no doubt has and will inspire people to want to join the NZ unit, or another SAS unit like the UK one or Australia or whatever. There is a part of that which I suppose they weigh all of that sort of stuff up, and is it worth it, is it not worth it, etc. But I am surprised in terms of how much the public, should they choose to engage and have a look, get to see. But at the same time, I think it's likely going to land on the eyes and ears and minds of those that really do want to go and serve there. It'll land on the eyes and ears and minds of those that just have a curiosity anyway. But, out of that larger pool of people that just have an interest, there'll be this smaller pool of people that will be triggered in a positive way by it and go, yeah, that's what I want to go and do, which I think is cool.
Yourself, it's so you can get in there and do your job.
On cycle, the 3 prove their basic parachute ability.
Dangle and thump, you fall and you hit the ground hard.
He has to learn how to jump out of a plane.
Feet, bum, back, head. If you're lucky, in terms of some of the landings, you try to do the power rolls, side left, side right, forward, left, blah blah blah, etc., etc. But at least for me, very rarely did I have a good, what that I would say or classify as a good power roll landing or textbook landing.
At pre-fall level, if that's to be a speciality.
For Air Troop's 3 newest soldiers, the objective is to freefall from altitudes up to 12,000 feet, navigating long distances across the sky completely on their own. There is absolutely no margin for error. The first port of call is not a Hercules transporter, but a simulator. Here, the 3 troopers can learn the art of skydiving without risking life and limb. But it takes time to master freefall.
It will take them a number of years to accrue the necessary experience to become a master freefall within the troop. He's at the bottom of the pile of experience.
Finally, Air Troop's new members are deemed ready for their first solo freefall jump. Freefall SAS style bears no resemblance to recreational parachuting. Its purpose is...
I wasn't a free faller There was a nickname that was used for them. I'm pretty sure it was Ice Cream Boys was one of the nicknames that I'd heard for the free fallers, because they just sat around and ate ice cream waiting for the weather to be right or something like that. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I remember. It's going back a while now. Who did I hear that from? Maybe it was just probably from either a water operator or a mountain troop guy that the free fallers would say, "Oh, that's just because they're too bloody scared to jump out of an airplane or they're afraid of heights or whatever." So just some of the banter between the different troops or the insertions was quite funny when I heard about it, because I didn't serve in the NZ unit, but we'd hear little bits and pieces in terms of, dare I say, banter, piss taking of each other.
To transport armed soldiers to specific locations without them being seen. At high altitude, the air becomes so thin that breathing without aid can lead to a blackout. But that's not the only obstacle for Air Troop's 3 new soldiers.
I reckon the military can wreck anything that could be fun in civvy world. They put a big pack on you, tell you.
That was always a common saying. Yeah, the army has a knack of just ruining the fun things that you could do out in civvy street, just with whatever it is that they're doing. I think Dale was just about to mention they chuck a pack on you, whether you're on the ground or whether you're jumping out of an aircraft, and strap a whole bunch of other things to you, make you walk for ages across some pretty hideous terrain and that sort of thing. But it's quite a hard case. That is a common was and probably still is a common comment that was shared about the military in general. But hey, that's what you sign up for, eh?
Could be fun in civvy world. They put a big pack on you, tell you to get out the back door.
Once out the back, the added weight of the pack sends them hurtling towards Earth at 140 miles per hour. As the air rushes past, each man battles to remain balanced. Once in control, the 3 must navigate to the landing zone. To get there, they become human rockets as they propel across the sky.
This is Jamie Pinnell. Pretty sure he was free fall, and he does a lot. Or if he wasn't, I know he's done a heck of a lot of free fall. I'm pretty sure he was free fall in the unit.
Over the landing zone, the canopy's open. It's been a textbook air infiltration.
That's cool. I think I recall on my basic static line during cycle, just with the T10s, the roundies, not free fall like what these guys are doing. Pretty sure there was a stage during our ground training. We were in a classroom and we watched. I'm sure it was Jamie and his cohort doing their parts of their free fall course, and seeing them being human missiles up in the air. And I remember watching that thinking, oh man, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to do. But yeah, I never did that. I never did free fall, but it looks bloody cool when they're doing it. I don't know what the ground training's like for free fall. I've spoken, I think, a bit about the ground training for the basic parachute course, which was bloody a lot of hard work.
It leads to this process of continuous improvement. Everybody wants to do better next time, and the next time, and the next time, and you're constantly trying to get better and better and better. And it also means that you get to the stage very quickly in a small group of men where you know you can absolutely trust the person in front of you and behind you and to your left or your right.
Before the 5 new troopers will be sent on an overseas deployment, there is much to learn. But their time will come soon enough.
Unlike a lot of conventional forces, they will see action early and often in their operational life.
The operational tempo of the New Zealand Defence Force since the 90s has been incredible, with all the deployments to the UN type operations and then the problems closer to home.
On every wall of the NZSAS headquarters are images and symbols which act as a daily reminder to its newest members of what being part of this unit is all about: active combat. Too small to fight alone, the New Zealand SAS has proven its ability to fight with its international allies in any theatre of war for more than 50 years. Whether in jungle or desert, the NZSAS's hallmark is versatility. From Malaya in the 50s to the American-led war on terror in Afghanistan today.
Their ability to undertake challenging missions, to then deliver on those missions.
To go in to do the reconnaissance work that is required and to be involved in the direct action that is required. The SAS have been involved in those sort of operations. They have done their work well. They have been respected by the other forces that they have worked with.
They received a presidential citation for their work alongside American Special Forces in Afghanistan.
If you walk into any bar in Fort Benning, Georgia, where the U.S. Army Special Forces Command is located, and you walk in that bar and you throw down your coin, as it's said, which identifies you as New Zealand SAS, you will be shouted beers until far into the night.
That's pretty cool, eh? I've never heard that before. What do you say? Fort Benning Special Operations Bar. Show your coin, or the challenge coin process, and being shouted beverages by the sounds of things far into the night. That's cool.
World class.
I'd say that's likely reciprocated as well. Like any special forces, I would imagine, from the US or UK or Australia. Maybe they might not for Australia. Maybe the rivalry is too much there. But I'm pretty sure the treatment from NZ to other SF operators coming from overseas would be reciprocated, and the lads would look after them as well. I know the Aussies looked after a couple of the Kiwi lads that went over to Australia. One of them that I was on cycle with, but I was in Iraq at the time when we were on the same cycle together. I was in Iraq at the time, and he was over in Australia for, I don't know, he must have been there for maybe a few weeks or months. Unfortunate we never crossed paths anyway, because he was there while I was gone, and then he had left, I think maybe a week or so, or might have only been a few days before I got back. So we never got to catch up in person at that time, but it was cool to hear. So when I got back, the guys from the Aussie regiment said, "Oh, do you know the person?" I won't say his name because he's still serving. And I was like, "Yeah, bro, he's a good fella." And they're like, "Yeah, man, he was awesome." Like they just had really good things to say about him, which I knew they would anyway. I just didn't know that he was going to be over there. But it was a shame to miss out on catching up with him whilst he was there.
Standards and tremendous versatility is what makes a New Zealand SAS soldier. The 5 new troopers are conscious they must prove they have the right stuff too. To function as a highly effective small patrol, the 5 must hone their skills.
Within the patrol, we need an advanced medic, an advanced signaller, we need a tracker, we need a demolitions expert.
You put that all together, and that makes a pretty awesome patrol, doesn't it?
For 15 intensive weeks, the new troopers advance their individual skills.
The main reason we get into photo compression is to reduce the transmission time on the radio. The longer you transmit, the more chance there is that you'll be detected.
We operate only in small teams, so you'll be able to pick up different skill sets.
As part of a small NZSAS patrol, the 5 must show they have the versatility and variety of disciplines to cope with any situation.
You can't have a unit of just specialists. You need to have cross-skills, cross-functional areas.
Move! Hand-to-hand combat is taken to the next level.
Presume your enemy is bigger, stronger, fitter, faster, more skilled.
Looks like Tank Todd. Not sure if that is still Tank Todd, one of the instructors there. Not a member of the regiment, but he was, or at least he wasn't during my time, but he was a specialist brought in from Civvy Street, and I think he still is to this day. And or if not him, then maybe members of his team or other instructors that he's trained brought into the unit to help with some of the hand-to-hand combat stuff, knife fighting, hand-to-hand stuff, weapons disarming and all that sort of thing.
on killing you, and he's armed. If it's kill or get killed, the first thing that he should know is that his airway's been destroyed. The spinal cord's been severed, a finger's gone through his eyeball, his leg is broken.
It's very much about aggression, but at the same time it's also about control.
This is about the most elemental aspects of warfare. One man against another man in the field, using their wits and guile to defeat each other, often in a very deadly embrace.
During this time, the five are also taking their troop skills to expert levels.
Interesting that they show, you know, even just those bits of footage and things like that. I've not seen this document, like the whole of the documentary, and I think this is part 2 of 2. So once I get to the end of this, then that's it. But there's a lot of stuff in here which is, yeah, just interesting that there's a fair bit showing. Obviously, it's not showing a lot of the instruction and how that's delivered, but you're seeing bits and pieces of things that I'm not sure. I don't know if that sort of stuff was shown by other militaries before. Maybe it is. Maybe it has been. So in that case, maybe it's, you know, doesn't really matter. Clearly, again, it's one of those things that they looked at, discussed, assessed, and thought, yeah, these aspects are all right.
The amphib troop members work on distance and depth in their diving. Those in air troop increase their heights and distances travelled and at night. And mountain troop adapts ground skills to fit the unique terrain. Wherever possible, the five are introduced to real-life settings using live rounds. Here, enemy communications are the designated target of this unopposed mission, while a beach headland is the object of an amphibious assault. Finally, the 15 weeks is over. Next up, a return to inhospitable Waiouru.
Inhospitable Waiouru. Interesting. I wonder what they'll be doing there. But I'll leave this one here. That's nearly 30 minutes. But yeah, again, good for me anyway, to just have a watch of this and seeing it through after being reminded by one of the kind followers of the channel that to finish this off. And I'm quite surprised, as I've mentioned a couple of times, in terms of what is shown. Like, there's, when you're doing the courses though, so even though people are seeing glimpses of stuff, there's a heck of a lot more information and detail and things like that behind the scenes, which I think people obviously are smart enough to be aware of. But seeing the glimpses that people see, maybe it's those little pieces that spark something for the individuals that go, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I'd like to do. So anyway, we'll leave that one there anyway. And as always, or not even as always, but this is what I've been trying to do recently anyway. New Zealand's premium non-alcoholic sparkling brand, Waimanuka, honey and lemon. Give it a try. Get yourself some. Support Joe Harawira and the Waimanuka team. I'm privileged to be able to support one of the bros who I was lucky enough to serve in the army in the battalion with back in the day at 1st Battalion, 1RNZIR. And he is out there hustling, continuing to, well, he's already worked it into existence. He's continuing to progress it and build it even further now. There are no kickbacks. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just fortunate, privileged to be a mate of Joe's. And yeah, if I can use my little piece here from time to time to shamelessly plug and promote his product, then that's what I'm going to do. It tastes good. And yeah, get yourself some if you haven't tried it before. That being said, until the next video, I'll see yous, or you'll see me on the next one.